Good evening, YouTube. Now tonight I'm just going to do a little video on this Pioneer SX434 because I've been using this thing now every day for the last few weeks. I've had it running for a couple of weekends, so I have got to know this little Pioneer a bit, so I'm going to give you what I think of it in the video today and try and give you a little insight into what this Pioneer sounds like. So first things first, let's turn it on and put some music on. And I want it on auxiliary, so let's make sure it is on auxiliary, yes, let's make sure the volume's turned down. Now I know this has nothing to do with the sound, but I will give this Pioneer a 10 out of 10 for being really nice to use. Just look at it, it looks so lovely, this Pioneer. When you turn it on and you play with them buttons and them dials, it really is a lovely receiver to own. So let's go over to my hi-fi cabinet and turn the Arkham CD player on and push play. Now in here today I've just got a Shuckademus and Pliers Greatest Hits CD, because it sounds good through this Pioneer, a bit of Shuckademus and Pliers. It kind of suits the sound of this old Pioneer. So let's go back to it and just give it a little bit of volume. Now I can't play you Shuckademus and Pliers because I'll get into copyright trouble, but that is what I'm playing. And I've not got it playing through them little denon speakers that are on my table. I have been using them on it, but at the moment I've got it running through the silver magnet speakers that are up behind me. Them ones there, you see the silver ones in the middle, them magnets? It is on them, and it sounds really good through them, I'll give it that, because although them magnets are like big floor standers, they do not need that much power to run them. So although this Pioneer is only 15 watts per channel, it runs them magnets no trouble. It sounds really good on them. And that's the first thing I'm going to say on this little Pioneer. And that is that it is only 15 watts per channel. But that is hard to believe, I tell you, because this thing, it seems really powerful. It is hard to believe it is only 15 watts per channel, because it really is like a little powerhouse for only having 15 watts. It is so powerful, in fact, that I had to go on the computer and I looked that up on a few different sites just to make sure it was 15 watts per channel, because it's hard to believe that it is that low powered. Because over the years I've had quite a lot of this Pioneer SX range. I do like these Pioneer SXs. So I've had a lot of them over the years. I've had a lot of the bigger ones. I've never had this 434 before, but I've had a lot of the bigger ones in the range. And I swear, in terms of power, this little one is not much behind them bigger ones. Although it is on paper, in the actual real world, when listening to it, this little one is really powerful. So I can see why people really rate this little Pioneer, because if you read reviews on it and things like that, people really like this 434, and I can see why. It is a little powerhouse for how low powered it is, and it has got a ton of bass behind it, this little Pioneer. It really is kind of bassy. It's like, I call it a bit of a pumper, and it really is. For 15 watts per channel, this thing is a bit of a pumper. And like today, I'm playing Shuckademus and Pliers through it, and it's really enjoyable. Shuckademus and Pliers, this Pioneer, them magnet speakers, it's really enjoyable. It really does sound nice. And alright, it might not be doing it 100% accurate. I think it is chucking a little bit more bottom end at ya, and it might be chucking a little bit more mid-range at ya. But you forgive it that, because the sound is so enjoyable. You really start enjoying the music. You'll end up nodding your head and tapping your foot to the beat, because this little Pioneer is so lively, and it's got bags of rhythm going on, this little Pioneer. And take the other night, for instance. My missus had gone out with her friend, so I was home alone, with the little Pioneer. And I'm having a few little rum and cokes, and I've got it connected up to them DM7 speakers, which are the light coloured wood ones you can see there with a yellow speaker in them. So I've got the little Pioneer connected up to them, and I'm playing a bit of Bob Marley. I think I was playing a Sam Cooke CD. I had a few CDs going through it, and I'm flicking through my CDs, and then I came across Prodigy, Fat of the Land album. Now, I haven't listened to that for a little while, and I do like that album, so I got that out, and I put that in the CD player and started playing that. And this little Pioneer really started pumping with that going through it. So you know how it is, we all do it, don't we? Every time the next track come on, I'm leaning over and just turning it up a little bit, 'cause I'm really enjoying myself. So every track that come on, I'm giving it a tiny little bit more volume, turning it up a bit. Next track's coming on, away I'm again, just turning it up a little bit, and I'm sitting back, tapping my foot, rocking along to Prodigy. And the next minute, the door has swung open, and my missus was just there with her face like thunder, shouting at me because it was so loud and you could hear it down the street. So that's what I'm saying. That's what this little 15 watt per channel Pioneer is capable of. It really is like a little pumper, a really enjoyable little amplifier. I was having a lovely time with it, playing Prodigy, but I didn't realise how loud I had it, because every track I just kept cranking it up a little bit. Now, I don't normally do that. Most amplifiers I listen to, I will just have them running low all night. I'm quite happy. I'll just sit there listening to the music with them nice and low. None of that cranking it up really loud. But because this Pioneer is so lively and it's got so much rhythm, it kind of wants you to turn it up a little bit. You can't help yourself. You have to just turn it up a tiny bit. I find myself listening to music on this Pioneer louder than I normally would on a different amplifier. And this one is really low powered, but it kind of sort of makes you turn it up a little bit, because the more you give it a little bit of volume, the more this Pioneer comes to life. So it really is like a good fun amplifier to own. So I can see why other people really rate this little Pioneer, and I can see why other people really like this little Pioneer. I rate this Pioneer, and I like this Pioneer for like having a good time, for enjoying yourself. This little Pioneer is excellent. For like sitting back on the sofa, putting one of your favourite albums in, just sitting back and chilling out and listening to the music and tapping your foot along and just generally having a good time. This little Pioneer is excellent for that. And that is all I've really been doing with it so far. So I'm going to have a night in with it next. I might do it Friday, and proper set it up for a bit of critical listening, because I haven't done that with it yet. I've only been playing tracks that I like and stuff where I just listen to it and enjoy myself. That's all I've been doing with it. I've not sat down and got my songs out that I don't really listen to. I only listen to them when I'm trying to catch something out. So I will do that with this Pioneer. Like I said, I might do it Friday, and it might not fare so well in that situation. I'm not sure. I didn't think the little Rotel would do that well in that situation, but that little Rotel RA310 really surprised me. That dealt with everything I chucked at it. So I don't know how the Pioneer's going to get on, because I haven't done that with it yet. But I will. I'll sit down with it, get some vocals going through it, get music going through it that I know can sound really good if the amplifier is up to it. And I shall see how this Pioneer gets on in that kind of situation. But even if it doesn't do that well in that kind of situation, I am still going to love this little Pioneer, because over the last few weeks I have had so much fun with this Pioneer. To just listen to, and that is such a great amplifier that even if it isn't the best in the old critical listening test, I am still going to love this little Pioneer, and I am going to try and get some better speakers for this Pioneer. Not as in better, because I've got some really good speakers. I just think something that suits it better. I think a really big set of old vintage box speakers with a like 8 or 10-inch driver in them, about 30 watts of rating, a big old vintage speaker with a nice big driver in it, because I think a speaker like that will really suit this Pioneer, and it'll make it even more rhythmical and more fun to listen to. So I'm going to try and get a nice set of speakers specifically for this Pioneer. I have had some speakers in the past that I think would have gone really well with this Pioneer. I've had a set of Spendor BC1. Now, they're a lovely old vintage speaker. I reckon they'd work well with this Pioneer. And also I've had a set of Audio Master. I think they was MA4. They'd work well on this. So I've sort of been looking at things that are going to be a bit like them. I'm not going to buy a set of either of them at the moment, because both of them speakers I've just mentioned are a ton of money. Unless I could find a set that wasn't working and maybe do some repairs on them, I won't be looking at them. Maybe even something like an old-fashioned Wolfdale. I've had some nice old Wolfdales before. A set of Super Lintons might suit it. Or before I had a set of Wolfdale, I think they was called XP3s. I think they'd work really well on this Pioneer. And both them Wolfdales are sort of affordable, especially if I can get a set that's not working and maybe just needs crossover rebuilt or something like that. I might try and get something like that for it. I would love another set of the Spendor BC1s, because they are absolutely a fantastic speaker. But the money they are making at the minute, I don't think I'll be buying myself a pair of them just yet, because I want to try and get some nice vintage speakers for the channel. But if I went and bought a set of Spendor BC1s, the money I'd spend on them, I could probably have 4 or 5 sets of different types, which will be better for the channel. So that's what I've been kind of looking at. Although I'd love to go and buy a set of Spendor BC1s, it's only going to give me one speaker for the channel, when at the minute I could do with quite a few to test out on different amplifiers and that, and also to repair on my other channel. So that's what I'm looking for, some speakers, nice old vintage speakers that need repair that I can do on my other channel and then get them over to this channel once they're all working, and then try them out with all different amplifiers, because as the channel's new and small, I think that's a better way to go than doing all my money on one set of speakers. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.